That's right. Our studio is named after Gary Bettman, the commissioner, who has saved the Arizona Coyotes on more than one occasion. I'm Leah Merrill here with Steve Peters and Craig Morgan. How are you guys doing today? Literally, as the countdown was running, as the intro was running, there was some anxiety. So I think it's been a while. If you're new to our show, you might not have been a part of this when we did it early on. But we used to do a thing called a clearing, which is something I did in my old job, where everybody comes and you say the thing that's on your mind, the thing that's holding you back from being fully present in the moment and maybe causing you some stress, so we can let go of it and be fully present. So let's do a clearing.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Craig.
Well, I've got a couple things that are keeping me from
he always has to go
being in
first.
the
Okay.
present.
Go ahead.
First off, still no Nutter Butters in this office, and I don't get it. At this point, I'm flabbergasted. It's clearly in my contract. The language is clear, and instead I go through the cookies today, and what do I have to settle for? By the way, good rec from Sean DePaz, the blueberry fig bar.
They are
It's
very
a solid
good.
rec. It's a solid rec.
Probably
but it's not a Nutter Butter.
Probably a little healthier, Craig.
And I don't know what I have to do to get a Nutter Butter around here. So maybe I have to buy my own. I don't know. The other thing that I want to mention, because you'll notice it tomorrow when we come live, when we come out of our intro, Leah won't be here. So Leah has decided to take a spa day tomorrow when we're interviewing Javier Gutierrez. So,
That's
I mean,
fake news.
something about commitment comes to mind. But okay, I guess I'm clear now.
What?
No, I know. And again, we talked about people listening before, I have some issues with anxiety. So when we talk, we're not going to say what I'm concerned about because it's too long of a list. But right when I was about to come down and go, okay, I can start the show, Craig goes, oh, by the way, you're hosting again tomorrow. Which I completely forgot because I forget all the time unless it's written down. And even then I probably forget. So now I got to do the ad reads again. I got to intro, outro, all of those little things with a big guest tomorrow, which isn't helping my anxiety today.
Leah will be in the spa thinking about you.
How dare I?
Another
take a
day off.
Another day off. When was my
Buddy,
last
I don't know.
one?
When did I, 3 days you were in New York? What was that? That was this month.
So my 3 days a month of days off is all I get.
You know what I'm going to do to help my clearing?
Let's really
not.
call it. The hockey season starting.
Screw what you have to say,
The hockey
Craig.
season started. The guys are on the ice today. Like literally today it starts. And so this is if anybody's associated with their media
Craig.
coach, they are in ticket sales. Today it starts. And it doesn't end until April, May, and for lucky few it's June. It starts today. And this is it.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we will be. I'm going today to the ice den.
Yeah.
Watch the rookies skate.
You know how I'm going to help my clearing, Petey? I'm going to
don't.
take a nice sip of this bottled water. It's delicious.
You guys, literally, it was 11 a.m. If we started 2 minutes late, blame Petey because he
I had to go
just
get some
left.
water.
He just left.
Buddy.
How is the filtered water?
He went to the
I went
water
to the water
fountain.
fountain.
Yeah, did you not
Fantastic.
trust me?
I didn't because it said water heater, not water filter.
Things
Just for the
are
record, I did trust you.
I think-
with
thank you.
the
Are we going to talk about hockey?
things are going great. Yes, we're going to talk about hockey.
We have to.
I tweeted. You're right about it being hockey season. I tweeted that Rookie Faceoff is the thing before training camp, which is the thing before preseason, which is the thing before the regular season. So it's hockey season officially today. I can't believe we're here. I can't believe we're talking about all summer. We were kind of talking about the past, and now we're kind of turning the page and we're talking about the future in the upcoming season. So, I mean, let's dive into it. The Rookie Faceoff Tournament is this week. It starts Friday in San Jose. Last year, if you remember, it was actually in Arizona. So a little bit different this year. We're not going to San Jose. We're not going to be able to be at the games, but it's not like they carry significant weight for everybody else. They carry weight for the players themselves and things like that. But lucky for us, we had Tucson Roadrunners head coach Steve Potvin join Craig and Petey yesterday to kind of go over what the tournament is from a coaching perspective, what they're looking for. So I think we should just start it off with that and give our thoughts. And
Shout out to John Slaney, by the way, who's supposed to be on the show, but has not been feeling well the last few days. So hope you're on the mend, John. But Potts, thanks for joining us after a long day of meetings.
Yep.
Petey and I got the chance to catch up with Potts last night. All right, we are happy to be joined by friend of the show, frequent guest, and Tucson Roadrunners head coach, Steve Potvin. First off, Potts, thank you so much for doing this. I know you guys are in meetings all week, and they're long meetings, all-day meetings, so appreciate you carving out some time for us.
Oh, listen, any time I can be on the show, I honestly feel like we're just hanging out. So I appreciate being on. I really appreciate hanging out with you guys.
All right, let's get down to it. The Rookie Faceoff is later this week in San Jose. Not your first rodeo. Obviously, you've seen this before. So let's start with the basics about this tournament. What have you learned over the years taking part in this tournament? What's the value of it, Steve?
You know what? It's funny. I was thinking about this on my way home. For me, it's about the energy. To be real honest, you can really feel the energy. It's really all around you. Some of the guys are really nervous. Some of them are excited. Some of them are a little unsure. And that's the beauty of this is that they can come in and really they feel like a lot of times they need to unzip themselves and kind of be somebody else sometimes. But they have to really understand that we brought them here, we invited them here, we drafted them. We want them to be the truest version of themselves. And, we only have a short amount of time with them, but, it's our goal to try to, bring the truest sense of themselves to give some of the guys that aren't our property the best opportunity to really, showcase their talents. And for the guys that are going to be here with us in the future, this is a good opportunity for them to hear our lingo and then build the connections and the relationships with their teammates. So for me, it's really about the energy. It's a real fun tournament, actually.
I know a lot of people will form judgments based off of this handful of games, but is this really an evaluation tool or much of an evaluation tool, or is it more, like you said, more like orientation and getting them used to everything?
I think it's both. I think it's really both. I think there is an evaluation. I think anytime you're on the ice, we evaluate if it's practice, games, even if they're in the locker room, sometimes it's just a part of what we do and you start to evaluate. But I really think that it's about building the bond and we're a long ways from winning the Stanley Cup, but you start to put little pieces together and then all of a sudden, you start growing and maturing, and then you start to set the standards, and you start to, see 2 or 3 years down the line, maybe it's a McBain, a Smith, somebody that's, all of a sudden become a leader, and, maybe it started in rookie camp, and then, hey, they had a little bond. Maybe there's a few plays they connected on, and then, that grows even stronger. And so, like, sometimes rookie tournament can be seen as almost a formality, but when you look at it from that standpoint, it can be a lot of fun.
You talked about, Steve, you talked about some guys there, and there's a handful of guys that have actually put on an NHL sweater in an NHL game. You got McBain, and you talked about Nathan Smith and Ben McCartney. So you've got a handful of guys, and you got some guys that played in preseason before. But for the majority, this is the first time any of these guys are putting an NHL sweater on, competing against another NHL sweater. How do you keep their emotions in check? What's that part of it, the mental part of it, not just the physical and the hockey side, but what's the mental side like for you to help guide these guys through it?
Yeah, I think you're right. They have to have this feeling of belonging, right? And so until they feel like they can belong, or there's a sense of value there, sometimes they don't. You can't really see the real version of themselves shine through. So for us, it's really trying to let them loosen up, and sometimes you have to put yourself in a vulnerable position sometimes to kind of just loosen them up. Try not to take it too seriously, and if I'm being judged as a coach and our staff is being judged as a coach as well, but like, you just have to realize that this isn't going to define you at the end of the day, and literally just try to let your personality come through. And I think for me, I have to put myself in a position to maybe be vulnerable to them, to earn their trust, and just maybe get them to loosen up a little.
And you're really getting to meet these guys this week for the first time. You get very little practice time. And then next thing you know, you're in San Jose playing a game. So from a coaching perspective, too, how do you prepare for it in so short of time, like 2 practices? And most importantly, coaching is a lot about, we talk about systems and how a team plays and guys getting comfortable with each other. You don't have any of that. You have no time to teach these guys the Coyote way, as it were. So how do you do it in 48 hours? And then more importantly, how do you actually coach guys games on this Friday? How do you go about coaching a team that doesn't know how to play together yet?
Well, if you have any suggestions, I'm open to that. I trust you. You've been at it for 20 some odd years, so and plus. You know what? I think for me, it's two things. First, you have to understand that these guys have played the game and they have a natural instinct, and we want them to use their instincts as much as possible. If you try to inundate them with too much information, sometimes that could backfire on you. So from a coach's perspective, we have to understand their instincts are there, let their passion shine through. And the other thing is, we're so lucky as a staff that, the week prior to the rookie camp, we're able to meet with the NHL coaches. And, Andre does a phenomenal job with teaching through the fundamentals and the foundation of the game. And, a lot of, skills that'll show up day to day in practices and games. And, he's well versed and he's open to sharing. And honestly, I think we're way better prepared because of the time that we're able to spend with Andre and his staff. And, from that perspective, it feels like we're prepared to allow these players to really be themselves.
Steve, ultimately, the games have no impact on anything, but you're still a competitor. Does it matter to win? Do you guys still want to win? And you take pleasure in winning out there?
Yeah, sometimes I bring my wife out golfing because I think I can beat her. So,
Nice.
You guys are the same way. You start to play cards, and it doesn't matter if you're playing with your daughter or your sons or your friends. You want to win, and once the puck drops, there's no doubt about it. And I think the team that's able to allow the players the freedom. A little more freedom to play, I think will have success, because you know what it's like. If you don't have the freedom, sometimes it really impedes your motion. Sometimes you can just be frozen because you're looking to do the right thing and you're just not able to do it. So for us, we're going to be preaching a lot of, the fundamentals, the instinct play, and just let your competitive spirit come out. Once the puck drops, it's about winning the one-on-one battle and trying to get the mission accomplished.
One of my favorite moments is rejecting one of my wife's shots in a pickup basketball game one-on-one. So I can relate to this. In terms of the players, you've obviously worked with a good chunk of them, but are there any that you're a little more excited to work with? Maybe the Euros like Milos Kellerman or Julian Lutz, or are there any guys that you're really excited to get a look at?
Well, yeah, those two guys are unique. Lutz is just a well-rounded player, and he's played in Germany. And a lot of times those players, if you haven't been in Europe, they grow up really quickly, and they're not in a sense where it's too fast. They're just very mature. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how his game is, and I think it's going to be a real mature type style. And I met Milos a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and I was really floored and excited to see his presence. He's really a built, strong-looking young man. So I can't wait to see him on this ice and see how he can contribute. A lot of times when prospects come to us, the physical size or the physical presence isn't there yet, and his is there. And so I'm if what I'm hearing about his game is true, I think this guy's going to be a friend of ours. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. And then, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the guys that played in the NHL jerseys and see how they lead and see how they perform. And what I would really love to see is one of our guys that have played in the NHL just kind of go and feel the room out and see the weakest link and really try to bring that guy up. I think it's a real opportunity for those guys that have been playing, and I know it's that have played in the NHL, and I know it's a short tournament and they don't know these guys, but sometimes it's hard in this environment to kind of really just peel back and take a look and see who's being affected by the environment. And I would love to see one of those guys just bring a guy and just take them under their wing.
Yeah, it gives you an opportunity now for some of these guys, and you look at some older guys, like McBain.
maybe takes a little bit of a leadership role and helps guide these guys through these next days. Can you take us behind the curtain? And I'm not looking for secret answers or the secret sauce, but do you guys get excited like playing fantasy hockey, going, oh, I can't wait to see this guy with this guy? Have you started putting your lines together and getting thoughts together on how this weekend is going to look on who's going on the ice? Because you have too many guys to play every game, right? So you're going to have some guys play some and some not play others. Have you got in there with Coach Tournier and management and starting to prepare what the weekend's going to look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, we like we said earlier, we want to give our guys the best chance. And so like, you know, you're trying to see guys that have maybe played together before, or, you know, the positions that they're the best in and the type of game that they have. You know, you got to try to match them with the right players. And that's always kind of a fun thing. You know, you're, like you said, it's almost like you're in the gambling stage where you're trying to put your best lineup in to see how it measures against the other team. And it's, you know, at some point sometimes you're gambling, you know, and so you want to try to, you can't wait to see what it looks like on the ice.
And speaking of getting on the ice, today is Wednesday, by the way, and you're getting on practice later this afternoon. I know for the first time, some of these guys, I'm sure they're all skating somewhere, wherever they are. This is the first time they're getting together as a group later this afternoon, and a quick one tomorrow before you leave. One, what are those practices going to look like? I mean, are they hardworking? Are they battle stuff, or is it a lot more flow stuff? And how are you as a coach going to get them ready for Friday?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you know what? You have to spend some real time preparing on that one, because you can't give them too much and you can't give them too little either, because you don't want to see them unorganized. So, you know, it's really going to be a blend in the next 2 days. There's going to be, you know, I think the best thing to do in these circumstances is to raise the level of compete. You know as well as I do, in the summertime, we practice hard, we train hard, but we also like to play hard. So, you know, they're used to playing a lot of shinny and a lot of 3-on-3, and you know, they're just not in that environment where they're playing 2-on-2 down low and really grinding hard on each other and winning battles and having to fight through checks to get through to the net. So I think that's going to be a real serious focus, especially the first day, because there's that next practice and then a game. I think it's important that we get right to the compete first and bring up their level of compete and energy right away.
Steve, just one more from me. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the history of this tournament. I'm trying to remember if you were here when it began, when you were in development. This was a big deal, obviously, getting this going. Traverse City, everybody knows about that tournament. But the West, the Pacific Division teams, or some former Pacific Division teams, really didn't have this sort of format for a long time. So I'm wondering what you think about the advent of this, how much maybe it's helped, and some of the things you've seen from this tournament.
You know what? I think what I didn't say earlier was it also helps the coaches prepare. You know, we go through a long period of time where we're, you know, watching video but you're not really always connecting with a team, or you're not really delivering a message, and you know, or you're not as intense or in the moment. And so like it gives us an opportunity to kind of practice a little bit also before we get into our regular season. So from that standpoint, I think it's really important. So you get your groove on, but you can also start to like maybe, you know, tweak a few things and experiment with some things that maybe you think are a little, you know, probably a little out of the realm during the regular season. It may be a little bit riskier, but you may be willing to try a few different things.
Steve, as you get ready for the weekend, you've got the Vegas Knights on Friday, Anaheim on Saturday, practice day Sunday, and then you got Colorado in the morning on Monday. As you're flying back to Arizona on Monday afternoon, what to you as a coach makes this weekend a success, and what do you hope you have seen over the previous 3 days?
I think the success is for us, I think is obviously we want to be competitive. We want to try to, you know, win every game that we can. And you know, when you're winning, I think a lot of times the connections are made. And when you're winning, a lot of times your players have performed and they're feeling confident going into main camp. I think those are huge. The other thing is, I think if we can really try to really build on the connection stuff, making sure that this is the first stage, and then they build the bonds and the sense of belonging, and they understand what our culture is moving forward. And I know it's only 5 days, but they can get a pretty good idea of it. And yeah, we want to try to, win in a lot of areas, not just on the ice, but we want to win in a lot of areas.
By the way, I can't remember. Is there something awarded to the team that wins the rookie tournament? Do you get a
I don't know. We've never won.
This is the year. Is this the year?
This is the year. This is the year. I think it would be great to find out what the prize is.
All right, Steve. Well, best of luck up in San Jose. Again, we really appreciate you taking time after a very long day of meetings, but always great to chat with you. And obviously we will be talking to you again down the road.
Looking forward to it, guys. Like I said, it's so much fun hanging with you guys. Feels like we're literally in the same room, and we've been talking, hockey talk for years. So appreciate being on anytime.
Thanks. Talk to you soon, Steve.
Thanks again to Steve Potvin, head coach of the Tucson Roadrunners, and he'll be running that rookie group out at the Ice Den and in San Jose this week. And he said, what's it like to win? Because we've never won it. And you know what? It really ties into what kind of player goes there. It's the guys that are drafted high, and you look at some of the teams like last year, Peyton Krebs and Quentin Byfield, guys that are high-end players that are playing for other teams in that tournament. And the Coyotes traditionally have picked lower and haven't had those high-end prospects until this year.
Now.
So we'll see. We'll see with Conor Geekie being on the ice. I know Logan Cooley won't be there because he's got commitments with the NCAA and they're not allowed to play in this tournament. So we won't get our first look at him.
Guenther will be there.
But Guenther's going to be there, and he's healthy and ready to play. So I can't wait to see what the Coyotes throw on the ice. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm interested in the history of this as much as anything, and I know you were around for all those. Basically, it was the Coyotes playing the LA Kings in a 2-game series where the Kings came in and beat the hell out of the Coyotes and probably injured a player and knocked them out for the season. That's what I remember anyway from the rookie tournament.
But that's what it was, Craig. You'd look at it, and the coaches would sit there, and you'd send the roster to we'd fax probably at that time to the Kings, and they go, the first thing the coaches would do, did they bring a tough guy? Are they bringing a tough guy? Do they have a tough guy? Are they dressing the tough guy? Because that's exactly what would happen. You played 2 days in a row of just your rookies, and invariably there'd be fights. And I don't know if the value was there like it is for this tournament. And I think it progressed to what you talked about earlier today, is the Traverse City model.
Yeah, that's the thing. And we'll talk about this a little more, but this is the 4th year where they've had this grouping of teams with what used to be, mostly the Pacific Division, but then the NHL had other ideas. But Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, LA, San Jose, and Vegas. So it's a 6-team tournament. It's a good situation for evaluating prospects, probably best for the scouts, as we've talked about off the air. And it's just nice to have all these teams. Traverse City always had that. The Coyotes never had it until the last few years, but now it looks like the Rookie Faceoff is here to stay, and it's just going to continue to rotate cities. So it's a good thing.
But what it makes sense to me is when you talk about the scouts, when you're trying to evaluate your own team, truly you're looking at, out of this roster, how many guys are going to play for the Coyotes? Like this year? I don't know, maybe 1 or 2. But what the scouts get the opportunity to do is now they get to see prospects from every team. Mm-hmm. They get to start building their book on this guy and that guy. And there's guys on PTOs and there's guys that are unsigned. And you get to see a grouping of a lot of players at one location, one venue. And I think it gives those scouts a real good idea and really helps development programs, not just for, if it's a player playing for the Kings, he might not end up playing for the Kings. He might get signed by Vegas at the end of this tournament. So I think it's really good for the players, and I think it's really, really good for the organizations and their scouting staffs too.
It's a bummer the tournament isn't in Arizona again this year, because I would tell all of the scouting staff and coaching staffs if they needed a break from watching all the games to come to the Cardinals watch party at 4 Peaks on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Listen.
Sunday's a day off. There's no games. Perfect.
Yeah. It would have been perfect. It would have been a perfect situation. I would have sent
Especially if it was at ASU, right? At Mullet.
Yeah. It would be down the street. I would have invited them myself to 4 Peaks this Sunday, the 18th. At 12:30, there will be a Cardinals watch party. You can enjoy drink specials, Cardinals tickets giveaways, and a 220-inch screen experience. Check our link in the description to RSVP. Just a $5 ticket gets you a free beer with that. So your ticket is buying your first beer. You must be 21 or older for that, but you don't have to be 21 or older to come to Four Peaks and enjoy the great food that they have there. And you must enjoy responsibly. We love Four Peaks, and you can also find Four Peaks wherever you buy beer, including Fry's, Target,
Or
Safeway,
here.
or our beer fridge here.
fridge.
By the way, the new office, did you guys see the videos? We finally posted the big reveal on social media yesterday.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked it out, check it out. You know, we're so lucky to have such great ties to the community, and that speaks to all of the employees here, because this was not only a team effort from our part, like PHNX employees minus Craig, but
It's that truth hurts though, buddy.
Leah saying earlier that she's non-confrontational and a pacifist.
Wow.
She's just sending shots now.
Craig's been dishing it out all morning, and
Finally
Leah's
paid back
And
for the
I'm
spa
just-
comment.
In the name of fairness, Craig did clean up the entire kitchen after the potluck.
he did,
to
and
pay
he
back.
washed my chocolate chip banana bread pan.
I don't
Loaf
know.
pan.
I don't know if that equals carrying stuff down 7 floors in the heat and transporting it over here and then moving it in here and setting up the entire thing, but it's something.
Yeah.
He moved the garbage can. That was
I
good.
did. I found a better
That's
place
big-
for the garbage can
and he
the
moved some
folding
folding
chair.
chairs. But anyway, it truly.
And we also said the Four Peaks thing. The other thing you said is the 220-inch TV. That's like watching TV in Craig's living room, because that's what I envision. I literally envision him in his Pellegrino fridge right here, in his 220.
Yep.
His
You
wife.
know what else I have, Petey?
Lovely wife
Nutter
Tara.
butters.
His lovely wife Tara
Nutter
bringing
butters.
over the Pellegrino and Nutter
You could
butter
have gone on the
tray.
Pouring wine
Costco
off
run.
screen.
100%.
You could have gone on your hip. You could have sat on one of those electric scooters.
Oh, you don't think he milked that at home too? Oh, Tara.
You could.
Nutter butter, please.
Saul and I were in the heat loading his car with all of the stuff that we bought, the cases of water. You could have been there,
I
but
could have.
and then you could have said we could get Nutter butters, but you weren't. So
You guys would have been happy to put me back at Mayo for a few more weeks,
anywho,
just to lift a few things.
go check out the video on the PHNX Sports Twitter and Instagram. Back to the Rookie Faceoff for a bit. And PD, obviously you were part of the Coyotes coaching staff forever. We talked about the value to scouts. Is there any value to the coaching staff,
You know,
or is it more about scouting?
But it's changed, and it's evolved a lot over the last 20 years. And what you did with your rookies. And I remember there were times, and we'll go back to Barry Smith was an assistant coach in the Gretzky era. And I remember that was like a mini Olympic training camp. I mean, his goal because it was just the 2 games with Vegas, it was an entire week long of practices, and there were 2-a-days and guys on the ice in the morning. Then there was video sessions and then more ice time. It was more of a developmental on ice program then than it is now. And I think that it's just the evolution of what this tournament has become. That this now it's a showcase of guys to compete against each other versus, hey, let's try to pound these guys into the ground and get them in shape. So I think it's a different thing altogether. And I think this is much better. I think what you get to see, it's hard. As a coach, you want to implement your systems. And when we talk about systems, it's how your team plays. It's a 1-2-2 forecheck, and whatever that system is, you can't implement that in 2 practices. You can't. Literally impossible. So I think the team structure and the team things that a coach would really like to get in place for training camp, you don't have time. What you do for this particular group of players is you get guys, accustomed to the pro game. And that means training camp's in a week. They're in the same locker room they're going to be in next week. They're at the same rink they're going to be at. They're around the same staff people. This gets them acclimated and ready for the big show next week, so that when
Even
they
just,
come in,
knowing where to park
100%.
and how much time you need to give yourself,
how to get around the valley,
Yeah.
all of those little things. Where do I get water? Where do I change into my workout clothes? All of those little issues that can be huge problems for somebody that has anxiety, that they're overcome that by the time they get to main camp, that they just have to worry about performing and playing and getting better. So I think that's, for me, was always the biggest piece of this, was just getting a kid acclimated to the professional hockey game and workflow. And it's a different practice schedule than you have in juniors or workflow that you had in college. It's just different. And how you manage yourself through that day, that's the most important piece to learn. From a coaching perspective, you're not looking at how a kid fits into your system, or, hey, that kid was really good on the forecheck. What you're looking for is a lot of different things, both on and off the ice. How a kid performs. How hard is he going to work? And when I mean how hard is he going to work, how hard is he working in the gym? Is he doing it with a smile on his face? Is he working hard in practice? Is he paying attention to the drills? We call a guy a drill buster, that you don't understand drills. And sometimes in the NHL, drills can be complicated and confusing. And if you haven't done them before, you can bust the drill, and you're a drill buster. You don't want to be a drill buster at this kind of a camp. You want to pay attention. You want to know what you're doing. And kids that can get through practice and go, okay, he worked hard. He did all the drills. He did what we want him to do. That's great. Now, does he need to go score 5 goals this weekend? No. He just needs to perform and do the things that you've asked.
I think that's often, fans often look at the rookie tournament and say, you get the question all the time, hey, who did you think looked great? What did you, I don't use this as evaluation. I mean, I know they're playing against their peers, so you want to see them perform well against their peers, but I don't think this is a fair evaluation tool. Honestly, there are a few things that you can learn about a player, but I'm not going to come away from the rookie tournament saying, oh my God, this guy's going to be an NHL player. No, the coaches aren't coming away with that. No. The managers aren't coming away with that. That's just putting too big of an emphasis on what's happening here.
And there was another thing that Steve Potvin said is he's paying attention to how they are in the locker room, who's going to step up as a leader. And he, mentioned Jack McBain, someone who was on the NHL roster last year. Will that help him adopt more of that leadership role? Those are the unspoken things that fans and even scouts aren't seeing on the ice itself.
And that's what you say when you say you can't make the team. You can absolutely lose it here, though. Like if you're not, to your point, if you're not working hard, if you're late, one of the big things that is in the first meeting they have to start this event off, they'll meet with the management and all of the staff, and the first thing they'll tell you is don't be late. Do not be late to anything. And those little details and how you act to the staff. Do you say please and thank you to the equipment staff? Do you pick up after yourself in the locker room? And I know it sounds childish, but those make a bigger impression in your opportunities to carry further in this program than they do, oh, he had a goal tonight. If he had a goal tonight and he's a jerk and he's late and he's not a team person, he's not good in the room, I'm not sure it's going to help you. Having said that, though, you look at last year, and last year's a great example because there's a lot of kids here that don't have contracts. There's a lot of PTO guys here. There's a lot of guys that weren't drafted by the Coyotes, and you go to last year's tournament, and you look at the goaltender, Anson Thornton, who came in here on a tryout, 6 foot whatever, 6 foot monster goaltender, huge goaltender, comes in, and you know what? He made a difference and he caught somebody's eye. And that's what you need to do. You need to catch somebody's eye. And it could be in the gym. It could be in the hallway, just passing a coach saying, hey, can you sit down and do video with me? Can I ask you a question? Being personable. It can be on the ice in your work ethic. It's all those different things that can help you potentially get a chance. And now Anson Thornton's got a contract. All because of how things started off for him at rookie camp.
Petey's getting a phone call live on air. I'm just kidding.
Work.
Oh, man. But yeah, lots of names that Coyotes fans are familiar with. Some that maybe you aren't. There's some that I didn't necessarily recognize. But, the ones of note, obviously, Conor Geekie, Dylan Guenther, Liam Kirk, Mannix Landry, Julian Lutz, Jack McBain, Ben McCartney. Here's the roster here. And then we have some of the picks from this year, Jeremy Langlois, Maximilian Zuber, my favorite name ever to say. Zuba.
Sorry, I have to say all
It's so like fun. It's so fun. So, it's not Colin Thiessen, who was an ASU
he was their captain.
Sun Devil. So, just a good mix of prospects from past years, prospects from literally this year's draft. So, it's unfortunate for Coyotes fans that it's not in Arizona. You don't get the chance to, go down to the rink and see it. But I'm sure that the Coyotes Twitter will have
you can stream it.
You can.
Bob Heater.
By the way, Potvin told us Colton Point no longer on the roster, right? Like told us that last night.
Yeah, there's a change in the goaltending.
Yeah, there's a change in the goaltending.
Oh, okay. So Colton Point is not on the
roster. We'll have more information before Friday's game on where to watch. But the Coyotes are sending Bob Heathouse to call the games from San Jose. They will be streamed. All the tournament games are streamed for every team. So if you want to go check out, I'm sure Craig and I will be sitting there dialed in Friday night with our feet up watching the rookie tournament from San Jose. But no, it's going to be available. We'll put up more details later. Bob Heathouse, I just talked to him this morning about it, and he's really excited because this is his first look at some of these kids too.
The start of the season. The Coyotes play Friday against the Golden Knights at 4:30, Saturday against Anaheim at 4:30, and Monday against Colorado at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Get that early slot.
Love it.
Wow.
There's the full schedule for all the teams. So if you're interested in the other prospects, some like Quinton Byfield is still on the LA Kings roster.
Yeah, so crazy.
So if you're just interested in checking out, if you're like, some people really nerd out about prospects. I kind of do sometimes. So if you want to check out all those games, they'll all be available to stream. So check that out. Speaking of games, tickets are on sale for Coyotes games. And we've seen a lot of discourse on Twitter and in our members-only Discord about ticket prices, which we have addressed again and again and again. You know, there's some sticker shock for some people.
But Leah Merrill has a revelation for you
I do
right
have
now.
a revelation
we
because
go.
a lot of tweets we were getting yesterday is, like I can't afford tickets. They're all $200+. So this morning, literally like an hour ago, I opened my Gametime app and there's tickets on there for $82
For real?
to Arizona Coyotes games at Mullet Arena.
For real.
I'm not kidding.
Huh.
So we implore you to check out the Gametime app. It's seriously the best way to get tickets. I use it. We all love it in this office. It's the hottest new ticketing site, and not just for Coyotes games and other sporting events, but you can get concert tickets and show tickets on there as well. There's Cardinals tickets on there. I saw $30 Cardinal tickets.
Wow.
Like just absolutely unbelievable. And I know that the ticket prices for Coyotes game has been, an issue for some people, and I understand that. I saw them for $82. So definitely check out the Gametime app, especially if you're kind of looking at the season right now. Everyone's in buying mode because they went on sale. Check out Gametime. For sure, you can save up to 60% on tickets when you buy last minute as well. It's great for the procrastinators out there. And if you love PHNX, you'll love Gametime. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description, either of this video, or if you're listening on audio, the link is in the description as well. So check it out that way. And another thing I'm really excited about, and Petey and I actually were on a call to learn more about it this morning, which was really awesome. And I can't wait to do some of this once hockey season gets started. It's Underdog Fantasy, which is a new app for me. I just downloaded it last week. Petey, tell us about your experience last night.
I like easy and quick. And one thing about the Underdog Fantasy app, it's really easy and quick. And it has a higher or lower thing on pitch count. And I won't go too long into it. You pick 5 pitchers. Are they going to go higher or lower than whatever pitch count they had assigned? You pick 5, put $5 in, you get $100. So as I'm watching the games yesterday, the first guy got pulled early. I go, good. Second guy pulled really early because they were losing. Third guy out. Fourth guy out. Done
You're
my
like-
last pitcher. I'm done. And he's Diamondbacks.
Oh,
Oh, no.
So as many people in this community can say, the Diamondbacks screwed them last night. So my pitch count was 95, and he pitched 96.
Oh, by one.
Petey, you do know that on the Underdog Fantasy app, you can take insurance.
You can buy
You
insurance.
can buy
So,
insurance.
I
cut
didn't
the
learn
odds
that.
in
I
half.
learned that today.
Yeah.
So I could have actually taken home money, even with 4 out of 5, if I would have hit the insurance. I'm still learning, but it's the one thing about it, it's incredibly easy to do. And so I'm all in. I will be doing baseball tonight. I'll be doing football tomorrow. You can draft teams. You can have one-day fantasy teams. Super, super easy. And you don't have to bet the farm on any of these bets.
No, it's like really small buy-ins
Yeah.
if you're not.
Weenie bets.
You don't,
That is the
weenie.
one thing I really like about it is like some people get intimidated by like odds and stuff
Yeah,
like
none of
that.
that.
Like,
There's
it's just
none of that on
You
like
like this
that.
better.
It's just
Yeah.
like
5
on
times.
Thursday
It's
Night
just
Football.
higher or lower.
Pick which quarterback you want. This guy or this guy. That's it.
And I really like daily
Super easy.
fantasy because and I've done fantasy hockey for 10 years. Like managing a fantasy team throughout a season is a lot of work. You could just do daily, and then there's some other stuff. We'll get more into it when we get closer to hockey season. Petey and I are really excited to hopefully for our listeners and our members to
Daily fantasy,
do
working with Craig Morgan.
to do leagues with us. So super excited, and you can use it right now today for football season. In their pick'em game, all you have to do is look for your favorite or least favorite player stats, pick between 2 and 5 players for your pick'em entry, and whether you'll think they'll end up with a higher or lower total than the stat in this week's game. If you get all your picks right, you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night, something PD almost did. But you can search in the App Store or click the link in the show notes. Sign up with the promo code PHNX, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PHNX, and get in on the action today. All right. One more note from us here. Goalie Christopher Gibson has signed a PTO with the Arizona Coyotes, 49th overall pick by the Kings in 2011, and over 4 NHL seasons, not hockey seasons, NHL season, he has 16 games played. We talked about the Coyotes goaltending situation, how we thought maybe they weren't done, maybe they'd bring in someone on a signing or a trade or a PTO. But with this resume, I don't really know much about Christopher Gibson, but any thoughts on this one?
just feels like a
spot.
PTO.
Yeah, this
I mean, it
so
just-
here's what I think.
I don't see this guy being the backup, if that's what you're asking.
No, and he hasn't played. He played two NHL games in 2021 for Tampa. what this is to me, it's a guy getting signed right before training camp. You need to have effective, efficient practices. You need to have so many goalies.
Bodies.
And that's what this is. This is just a guy. And you know what? We talked about opportunity. Opportunity. And this opportunity. Maybe this is Christopher Gibson's opportunity. And again, he's coming in here going, I can play. And so he's got to show the coaches something. The coaches and the management are signing a guy going, hey, we need to have more guys to complete a successful training camp practice. We need to have so many goalies. You know, you need to have at least 2, but usually want to have 3 in training camp practice so you can rotate and guys get their break and you're not working 2 guys too hard. So they just needed another body. That's what Christopher Gibson is right now. He needed a chance to play somewhere, so he signs the PTO. Not only does he have a chance here then, but if he's practicing and doing well, it gives you an opportunity to sign a contract potentially in the American League, and not necessarily here in Tucson, but somewhere else. Yeah. You need to get on the ice. You need to be playing, especially and practicing for goaltenders. 100%, absolutely. And you never know, like with some of these preseason games and that first weekend of games, there's a game Saturday night in Kansas and there's a game Sunday in Tucson. Well, guess what? You can't play the same guys in both those games. Yeah. It's not physically possible. So there's going to be opportunities for more guys to play. Does not mean I think Christopher Gibson guaranteeing him a game by any means, but I'm just saying there are more opportunities to play during training camp, and you never know. This is not the guy, in my opinion, that will be the backup that we've been looking for Karel Vejmelka that we've talked about over the last few weeks.
Right. Still waiting on that. Still waiting on Barrett Hayton.
AJ for
Barrett Hayton. Camp's in 2 days. Or, I mean, next week.
Yeah.
Rookies are today, but Barrett Hayton's got to get signed.
Yeah, that's been a daily conversation on this show.
Yep. 1 week.
AJ from DNVR Avalanche saying Chris Gibson. Woof. And AJ's really well versed in his product.
I think the Coyotes are trading him to the Avs for a first-round pick.
And another high-end
the Avs two-headed monster.
Right. Well, we gave him Kemper. Maybe we'll give him Christopher Gibson.
Who knows? He can have his breakout.
What's AJ doing up this early? It's 11:43.
No, it's Denver's an hour ahead.
Well, I guess. Lunchtime there.
Yeah, it is lunchtime.
Because those guys stay up all night and watch it. Like AJ's watching Bantam video from Russia at 3 a.m. You have his library of video and who he knows is
very impressive.
Stunning.
We appreciate
impressive,
the DNVR
AJ.
crew for
thanks for your work, so we don't have to.
Oh my goodness. Anything else on Gibson or the Rookie
Nothing on
Faceoff
Gibson,
tournament?
but I'm happy that it actually exists in the West. And I wrote a story on this like a year ago. One of the last stories I actually wrote before I came to PHNX, actually looking at the things that came together to finally make this happen. One of the things that Joe Will, was the assistant GM for the San Jose Sharks, talked about. When the Pacific Division teams pushed to have an AHL division of their own, that helped because you get all the guys out this way. But the other key here, and you mentioned it earlier, Petey, is facilities. Now, the ice den, I'm not sure that that's the optimal setup for the Rookie Faceoff. Maybe, it's a shame that this tournament was here last year because it looked really good in the current arena, right? This would be a great arena. But then Vegas completes City National in 2017. The Ducks opened a 4-rink facility in 2019. The Kings completed the 3-rink Toyota Sports Center in 2020. So you've got all these facilities capable of hosting these. Yes, and San Jose just opened. So you've got all these facilities
because these games go going concurrently. Like they'll start 1 at 3 and 1 at 5. So you see 2 periods. And most of these facilities, you have glass windows. So you can turn around and watch 2 games or restaurants and bars. The setups are amazing. It really has the feel of like those old youth hockey tournaments you had, and you can see all kinds of games going on at once, and you're walking between the hotel and the arena, and there's another player, and there's another player, and it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere, and it really is a good start to kick off hockey. And this to me is I'm looking most forward to. I'm going to the rink today. I probably won't watch as much hockey. I'll probably spend too much time talking, but so be it. But this is a good kickoff to the whole thing. This is okay. It's time. Football's rolling. Now it's time for hockey. Yep. Let's get going. So this is the real kickoff for me, is this rookie tournament. And I do like to see the big name players and see what they can do. For me, the one player I want to see off this Coyotes roster, the most I'm excited for is Guenther. And I want to see, he's had the injury. One, how does he play after the injury? Is he still able to get in battle in the corners? Is he shy? Is he timid? Because what we heard from Steve Potvin in the interview was the kid's special. And he's got the ability with that release to beat goalies clean. I want to see him. I want to see him up close. I want to see what he can do with another year under his belt, and see if he is ready to make that step to play with the big boys.
2 guys I'm looking at. Milos Kellerman is one guy because I wonder about him. As we talk about guys. Most of these guys aren't going to be on the team. In fact, almost all these guys will not make the Coyotes roster. Milos Kellerman may have a chance.
Potvin mentioned him.
Yeah, he's a big kid, and they like a lot of parts of his game. We'll see how it translates. And then just you with us still?
No, buddy, you got a lot going on. A lot going on. It's like Jeff said it.
He's getting phone calls.
Julian Lutz is the other guy that I'm excited to see because he was. I've heard a lot of draft analysts say, had it not been for injuries, this kid could have been a first-round pick. So the Coyotes got him in the second round, and I'm going to try and write something on him as well, dive into his past a little bit. So those are two guys that I'm watching.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I again, for fans that want to watch, we'll make sure we'll as we get closer to game time.
Michael's asking in the chat.
We'll get closer.
We'll tweet it out
and where to watch
on the PHNX Coyotes Twitter account.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Be sure to follow us on there as well. I mentioned it earlier in the show. If you didn't see our office reveal on the PHNX Sports Twitter or Instagram, check it out. Craig was doing work in one of the recliners today because not only are they recliners, they also have tables with cup holders. So you can put your laptop, your water, your Four Peaks beer in there. They're amazing. And all of the furniture in our new office and studio is courtesy of More Furniture. They really hooked us up. Our office is so beautiful, so professional. Like, it's just an amazing, amazing place to come to work. And it's seriously all thanks to them and all of our other partners who made all of this happen. And if you want to, redo your house or you're looking for a new piece of furniture, check out morefurniture.com. Oh my God.
This is exactly the stuff we're talking
Wait,
about.
1 second. You need to see what they wrote on here.
Okay, there's a giant pizza for the audio listeners.
Pizza that's apparently coming just for us.
Pineapple
Yes.
chicken.
We're not ready.
Oh.
We're not ready.
Is it a trophy or a statue?
Get that.
I'm dying.
Is it a trophy or a statue? That is.
3-level trophy drop
that-
on Mountain Mike's Pizza.
I'm getting trolled.
By Mountain
Yeah.
Mike's Pizza.
Yeah.
That, by the way, that is a humongous
Cra-
pie.
I
And it's
think-
got pineapple on it, so
They
it's
gave us
all
100
yours.
No, it's all mine.
100 slices.
See?
Oh my God.
Work. Hey, Craig.
Wow.
Thanks
Literally,
Mountain
as
Mike's.
I'm talking about our amazing
Oh, look at
office
the time.
and
I
our
think we
amazing
should probably wrap
partners.
up the show right
Yeah.
now.
Thank you, Mountain
We
Mike's.
just got done talking about more
I
furniture.
love pineapple on pizza. I know that might be a hot take.
And
but
now I'm getting trolled by Mountain Pizza.
I love it.
Trophy or statue?
trophy or statue.
At Mountain Pizza.
That is-
money. See, work around here.
Yeah,
Right?
Mike.
I'm gonna need y'all to wrap it up because that smells.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
smells
exactly.
really
Phenomenal
good.
pie right there. I'm
Oh
telling
my
you.
God.
But we will say one more thing about the more furniture. And Craig's sitting around with his computer out on the more furniture.
Oh, Craig won't eat pineapple.
I don't have the ability to sit,
Oh, I'll be out in a minute.
so I
Thanks,
have not sat in those chairs yet because I can't sit. I don't have the ability to just sit down and relax.
What are you talking about?
In the more furniture, more chairs, I can't sit.
The movie ones?
But I can't
Those
sit.
are like high-end movie.
I know, but I
recliners.
can't.
They're
I'm gonna go
ridiculous.
sit after this.
Probably fall asleep.
This
if
is
I
the
put-
biggest
sat in a
piece of
particular-
Is it
pizza
a
ever.
trophy or is it a statue? That is absolute money.
That's hilarious.
I've been looking for good pizza to replace Buffalo pizza since I got here, and this
Smells
looking
phenomenal.
good.
Robert, I will find out for you and let you know. Yeah, pineapple pizza is amazing, but that's we could do a whole segment on that hot take. Thank you all so much for watching. We're going to go eat our pizza. Thank you to Mike's Mountain Pizza. Seriously. Mountain Mike's.
Mountain Mike's.
Sorry, everyone.
Mom, Mike,
sorry.
that is a massive pie.
Huge.
Massive.
Huge pizza. Can't wait to go eat it. Everybody, check out Craig's stories at gophnx.com. Become a member to get access to that. Also, Gerald of our Suns Beat posted an incredible article yesterday. If you haven't had the chance to check it out, do so at gophnx.com. Sign up for an annual membership. Get a shirt from the locker when you do, like the one Petey's wearing. That's one of our
Howard
favorites.
Balzer on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Jesse Friedman on the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
All the
for you.
Arizona sports you can think of. We got coverage. Totree's covering the Sun Devils as well. So, sports, we're right on the precipice of the best time of year in sports. So it's a great time to become a member. You can also join our members only Discord as well, where we have a lot of fun talking hockey every single day,
Including tomorrow.
including tomorrow.
Not Leah.
Not me, but Coyotes president and CEO Javier Gutierrez will be joining the show live at 11 a.m. on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Craig and Petey are going to ask him about
Yeah, you're not going to ask me anything.
tickets and talks to the Tempe and
Yep.
everything like that. Everything you want to know, they're going to talk about. So be sure to tune in, hit the notification bell so you never miss a show on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, and follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms as well, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. I will tweet a picture of this troll job by Mountain Mike's Pizza. Check out mountainmikespizza.com. If you're sitting here wondering what to get for lunch, check them out. I cannot wait to try it. It smells So
It's phenomenal.
good.
Let's go.
Everyone, we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.